World War III should start any moment now, so they need to do the bunkers.
No, I can be
if you ever had a straw argument to grab a hold of, you found one.
No, hold on. No, that bunker has been there for
great.
So the bunker has been there for what, 70 years since World War II. It's like there are threats from time to time, and you need to shield the president from.
This whole thing on the East Wing is just some stupid liberal talking point. I'm sorry.
Well, you say it's a liberal talking point and everything like that. But I do have another question before we get
to. So let's talk about it. Okay, so hold on. Let's talk about a conservative talking point. The national debt just hit $38 trillion 2 months after it hit $37 trillion, and the shutdown means it's increasing at an unprecedented rate.
Okay, see, you're right, Rick. This is an argument that the Democrats should grab a hold and they could ram it through the Republicans. They refuse to do that. Instead, they chase eggs. They chase egg prices. They chase ballroom prices, but they don't stick it up his rear so far that he can't even see straight, which is it has increased in the national debt of 1.6 trillion and moving our national debt to 50 trillion because he created tax breaks for the rich. Now, that is an argument that if the Democrats could ever get their act together, which is one reason I got rid of my Democratic ticket, because I'm going, you guys are so stupid. I can't hold this. I became independent. However, the last time I voted, I actually voted Democratic because when I go to the poll booth, they go, which one are you going to have, Democrats or Republicans? Give me the Democrat thing. So at least I can vote. But let me tell you, that's an argument the Democrats can win. There's a lot of winning arguments out there. And Sharif should know this because he was a professional debater. Okay? You want to grab your winning arguments and stick it up their rear. Instead, this is how weak the Democrats are. They grab the fringe arguments or arguments that are kind of stupid, like eggs and now the ballroom. And then they hang on to it like they've got something, and it percolates throughout their entire system. And I'm sitting there going, dude, you are missing the boat. If you want to stick it up their rear, you stick it up where it hurts, which is the fiscal irresponsibility of the Republicans.
So speaking of weak arguments, speaking of weak arguments and all along those lines, and I did see Sharif, and he's like several times and everything like that. Speaking of weak arguments, one of the latest arguments is, and it was the argument with Biden as well, is that there are psychologists and psychiatrists that are saying because neither Biden, who was in office, or Trump are exactly young. So now there are scientists that are saying the same thing they said about Biden, which is that Trump is having cognitive decline, which means that he's kind of like.
And by the way, Mark, that is a very cognitive, that is a cogent argument. You know, the sad part is that people get older and they lose. That's the reason I don't play in chess tournaments anymore. Anybody who looks at chess players, once they hit age 50, their ratings start going down. And I watched a lot of the Grandmaster show. I'm going to continue to play. Every time they did, they just didn't have the brain power that you do in your age 30. I mean, it's just the way
I can explain why the White House and why eggs, because TV news is lazy. They love visuals. They love low-hanging eggs. You can throw up the pictures of the White House torn to shit, and then all you have to do is send a news crew to the grocery to get footage of the price of a dozen eggs. That's easy coverage. Yeah,
I know, but see, that's the news dictating and this is where the Democrats don't have any leadership. Rather than say, okay, what we're going to do. I mean, come on, Sharif. You were in debate. I was in NFL for years. NFL stands for the National Forensic League. It's a debate league, okay? And even in law school, they actually teach you, go to your winning arguments, grab your winners, and regency primacy, put those out first. Don't put your stupid arguments out. And Democrats continually put their stupid arguments.
Speaking of easy arguments,
there was a debate.
I don't know, man.
Nick, I saw your hand, Rick. But speaking of easy arguments and all along those lines, one argument that's very easy to discuss, it's been discussed in you and Sasha's favorite sport, which is chess, is cheating, and now it's hitting the NBA and everything like that. So are we about to have like a Pete Rose kind of situation where athletes themselves, because I can't remember, I think that there were some chess players that bet on themselves, and it looks like that's what happened with Chauncey Billups and Terry Rozier and some others. So they did a big investigation of gambling probes. So gambling apparently is a big problem in the U.S. and around the world and everything like that. So is this going to be a disaster for the sports world, no matter what the sport is?
Well, I don't know. I mean, we're just going to have to check that out. I know that sports betting is legal now, and so I think the NCAA said now you can bet on yourself or something like that. It's just
when you join the NBA, your teammates are supposed to take you aside and give you the lecture on what not to do, which generally involves not having sex with groupies, or if you do, take the condom with you, because some groupies want to get knocked up by an NBA player. And so part of that lecture to all pro athletes should be, don't be a freaking idiot and destroy your career by gambling, because you're making $20 million a year. And then you a bet for 50 grand could shut off that forever.
Yeah. Well, one of the people that we might be working with on a going forward basis is a former NBA player for the LA Lakers, who actually takes these players aside and teaches them financial planning. In other words, to make sure that they understand that this could be a very, very short-lived or a long-lived opportunity financially for you. But if you don't invest properly, you're going to get screwed. They definitely do need counseling. I mean, if you're a good player, you should have a good attorney, a good CPA, and a good financial advisor. But anybody who makes a lot of money in a short period of time needs all that.
So you guys are talking about debating. Wait, come on. You were talking about debating. There was, I think, a debate last night among the New York mayoral candidates, and Mamdani turns out to be a very skilled debater because he's running against Cuomo, right?
Right.
In the audience, there was a woman. He points out a woman in the audience who I'm sure he had planted there, saying, now, you can't say anything about what Cuomo did because you signed a non-disclosure agreement. But I can say that Cuomo sexually assaulted or harassed you and 13 other women. And Cuomo, what do you have to say about that? So
he had a show in the audience. Good for him.
And it's an ambush question and everything like that.
Yeah.
Sasha, we were talking. Am I not correct in thinking that there was some players that bet on themselves in chess as well? I think you and Ken Regan talked about that on the chess show, and there's even been some rumors that part of the reason that the chess player that killed himself, we don't know that he killed himself, but part of the reason that he is because they're still investigating. Part of the reason that he's dead is because there was some ranting, and apparently he was ranting about being accused of cheating and all along those lines. The young fellow and everything.
Daniel Naretsky.
First of all, I would exclude completely that he would bet against himself, because in chess, betting is not nearly as popular as in other sports. There was only one tournament where I was able to make a bet. Was some kind of a one of the online Carlsen tournaments, and the bets that Carlsen would end first was 166. I wouldn't make more than 105, but they put 166. Okay, so I put $600 and made $1,500 in that. But that was only one time. They never ever offered any bets. I'm talking about 360 bet 365. Never again they offered bets on chess. Okay, now talking about cheating. Okay, cheating is a part of chess folklore for the last 10 years or so. And, actually, I couldn't understand myself how cheating works. And until on my side, when we had these contests, and we had also some blitz tournaments. So a few players from Venezuela They were beating everybody, any master or grandmaster. It doesn't matter. And one of them taught me a lesson how to cheat and how you can win against almost anybody. And at that point, we stopped all those tournaments because they didn't make sense. Because anyone who is willing to cheat can beat anybody. Okay, now
So are you going to have to make chess players play naked to make sure they're not hiding?
no. In these games, it works differently. For example, in chess games, because I'm talking about mostly speed games, including, by the way, 1 minute game, which I thought technically would be impossible to cheat, but but yes, it is possible. You just put two monitors, and then one of them you playing your game, and another one you have engine analyzing position and making its moves, and you just duplicate this moves on your board. So there are a lot of ways to cheat. I must admit that chess.com is doing quite good job to make it as difficult as possible and to catch these cheaters and make exemplary punishment of them. But if we're talking about Daniil Narodetsky, I would say that it's unclear, absolutely unclear, whether he was ever cheating or not.
Yeah.
Number two, he's most remembered as the fairly strong blitz player. I think at one point he was probably in top 20 in the world. He was a chess teacher, educator, a coach, excellent commentator.
Oh, wow.
I really enjoyed his commentaries on important chess tournaments. So in that respect, yes, he will be remembered as a very positive force in chess. I must just tell you, I saw his last interview with two girls who I don't remember who they are.
Right.
Now, that video is quite depressing. He was talking, he was agitated, he was talking. It was, okay, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a psychiatrist, but to me, that was unwell man by all means.
Sasha, you watched it, and like I said, I've just heard people describe it. It sounded like some people were saying that he sounded like he was rambling and that he was being incoherent. So since you watched it, would you agree with that assessment with that? Because that's what I've read. And like I said, I've just read it. I've not watched the video yet.
Unfortunately, yes. I think that that was happened to him. Okay, now, there are a lot of insinuations that he was bullied by ex-world champion Vladimir Kramnik, and that was a cause. Okay, I didn't see all the videos between him and Kramnik, but I saw last night, I saw one on Levitov chess. There was Kramnik and Narodetsky, and so Kramnik was saying that he was watching him playing blitz games, and he was accusing him of cheating because he knew that Narodetsky has two monitors. So sometimes he'll look at left, sometimes at right. But then sometimes he would look aside, and Kramnik was accusing him that he had also a third monitor. And the third monitor was tied to engine, and that's why he was looking at that. And Narodetsky denied it, and he showed, okay, here's my room, here's two monitors. And so where do you see third monitor? He said, okay, you don't have it now, but you could have it during the game. Or so it was going back and forth. It was, I found this quite vindictive from the Kramnik to accuse Narodetsky, and the reason he admitted later in the interview was that there were attacks on Kramnik, including from Nakamura, whom Narodetsky supported always, of course, and Narodetsky never said anything to defend Kramnik from this insinuation. And Kramnik was notorious for last 2-3 years, accusing almost all chess players, grandmasters and not, of cheating. And he had a very complicated system of how he analyzed it and how he came to conclusion and so on. It's a very complicated story, and I'll tell you that uh, okay, I'm not sure whether it caused Naroditsky demise, but it didn't help him either.
It didn't help him either.
So there's a history of famous chess players being very eccentric or going crazy. And it reminds me of this saying that people used to say that we only use 10% of their brains, which has always annoyed me. I always thought that was a stupid saying. And I think the proof that that's not true at all is that people who use their brains intensely, as chess requires, sometimes go crazy. Bobby Fischer went crazy, the most famous chess player. He became very, very eccentric and racist and just, he spun out of control. And, when you look at people who use their brains, it's a tough thing. And people go insane. And so you don't hear people saying the 10% thing much anymore, because I think life right now is so challenging that nobody believes that.
Yeah, a lot of people don't believe that philosophy, even though there are, I think, still some doctors out there that may believe it or think that we don't use as much of our brains as we
But what does that even mean? You can take somebody and put them in a PET scanning machine, which shows what part of your brain lights up. And your whole freaking brain lights up almost under any circumstance.
Exactly. So
okay, I wouldn't characterize chess players as primary subjects for mental illnesses or so on. It all depends on your overall situation, your education, your knowledge, your experience, your upbringing. For example, if you take first 5 world champions, number 2, Lasker, Emanuel Lasker. He was a doctor of mathematics, and he was great in game theories, and he wrote a lot of books on chess. The Capablanca, number 3, he was a diplomat, a career diplomat. Number 4, Dr. Alokin. He was a doctor of international law, and he was well regarded as very, very educated. He spoke several languages and so on. Finally, Michael Botvinnik, number 5, world champion. He was he was engineer, and he was later became also doctor of computer science at the time when hardly anybody knew what is computer. So he wanted to develop actually the superior chess computer. Never happened because there was no technology at that time available or so on, but yeah, he had some...
I'm not saying that chess players go crazy at a higher rate. I'm saying that people go crazy in all walks of life, particularly in sports where your brain does suffer a ton of insults. Football players, especially pro football players who've spent half their lives getting their brains knocked around, those guys go crazy.
They go crazy quite a bit and everything. Hey, Rick, just really quickly, and just come back to world news and everything like that. Apparently there's a rise, and maybe Dr. Sharif has some thoughts around this, around the rise of the far right globally. And this one surprises me, but CNN and other news outlets, including The Guardian, are saying that welfare cuts are actually part of the rise of the far right. And that would actually seem to me that would lean more toward the left than the right, but apparently it's fueling the rise of the far right and populism.
So one of the things that people say about the rise of Trumpism and MAGAs is economic insecurity.
Right.
And of course, it's not just that, but yeah, that is part of it. That the job landscape in America, and I'm sure throughout the world, has been totally disrupted by technology, where there are a ton of jobs available in the U.S. and unemployment remains low, but they are shitty jobs. They are DoorDash, they're Uber, there are these gig jobs that don't give you health insurance. They're jobs where you need to have two or three of them to get by. The tech has, and the greed of the big streaming, media companies has devastated my industry, where it used to be if you had a job in TV, you're an actor, a writer, and you're regularly employed, you get a couple jobs a year, you had it made. You could buy a nice house in Encino or Studio City. But now you have people who do get good writing jobs, who you can have a writing job and be living in your car, or have a writing job and have a shitty apartment with two roommates and be still working an additional job at night, because the security, the money has all been squeezed out. So
Rick, ironically, I was watching a documentary yesterday because I'm actually judging a documentary festival this year that I've judged in the past and everything like that. And one of the documentaries actually involves an area in your part of the world, in California, but it was about the homeless crisis and everything like that. And that's part of the point. One of the points that they made is what you just made, is that there are some people that are driving DoorDash and working Uber and everything else that are actually part of the homeless community because they're not making enough money to actually buy a house, because housing,
that's right, we have
is part of the problem. So it was a group called Camp Resolution. It was in Sacramento. They demolished it earlier this year.
In Los Angeles, we have at least 73,000 homeless people. In the whole state, we've got over 100. Where did they come from? They weren't here 8 years ago, and they come from various situations. Some people can't afford housing. Some people came to California to go through drug rehab and then stayed, then fell off the wagon. Some are crazy people. And we can't hold crazy people for more than 72 hours against their will. But yeah, these people, this huge number of people did not exist 8-10 years ago.
Yeah. Hey, Sharif, just really quickly, the other thing that's going on big time in the world and everything like that is this notion of, and we've talked about it here on the show before, youth anger. And apparently the youth are angry at a number of folks that are older citizens, whether they be 70s or even my age in the 60s or 80s and stuff like that are in power. Because even in the African country of Ivory Coast, a lot of people are upset that this president is seeking his fourth term, and there are people that are trying to oust him out of office and everything like that. So what's up with this youth movement around the world that apparently they don't want to be governed by folks that are old enough to be their grandfathers? Sharif?
You're muted.
You're muted, Sharif.
What's your question again?
I was asking your thoughts on the youth movement, because apparently this youth movement is very big around the world, and not just in Asia, but in Africa and the U.S. and everything else. What's your take on the youth movement that apparently is getting frustrated by the old guard being out?
Yeah, thank you. Basically, you are talking about youth movement, right? So if you see this emerging economy like Bangladesh, India, Pakistan, China, all of the countries has a lot of youth. Even though if you see China's revolutions, economic revolutions, Indian economic revolutions is based on youth. All of them heavily invest in education, healthcare. All of them trying to protect their countries with the modern science, engineering, and technology. So according to Adam Smith, if you see that the world richest peoples and world richest countries was in India, specifically this Bongo, where I live, we call it Bangladesh. And then it was the western part of China, and then it's Africa and specifically Egypt. So now what I'm observing, if you focus on next 50 years, what will happen this next 50 years? And always, you also discuss, like Sasha, Rick, and all of you discuss about the economic challenges of USA. Definitely USA still the world economic leader, and definitely they have a lot of political power because of their army. But if you see the next 50 years, you can find that India and China will take the lead. On the other hand, economically, country like Pakistan, country like Bangladesh, Malaysia, Indonesia, some point definitely in Africa, they will take the lead. And what is the issues? Why this Middle East cannot take the lead? Why this kind of country, if you go for this, because Middle East has a lot of resources. Let's say Saudi Arabia, right? Let's say UAE, Qatar, because the lack of youth. So that is my observations about the youth. The country, those who go for modern science, engineering, and technology, those who utilizing their resources. Example, if you see right now, USA has a lot of immigration challenge and they want to protect their border and everything. But I know in Bangladesh, every time Japan, they are coming to Bangladesh and they say, hey, we need 100,000 people in our country. Why? Issue is that Japan has a lot of old people. So if they want to run their economy, they need youth. If you see the political situations, what I discuss about Bangladesh, Indonesia, Singapore, Nepal, Madagascar, all of the countries, economic power and political power, it goes under the youth revolutions. And youth are engaging with the politics, youth are engaging with the economic activities. Yes, they are immature. Yes, they have lack of expertise or all of the things, I do not deny. But when they run the show, they will learn from there. So I believe next 50 years, if you see the emerging economy, specifically China and India take lead over USA because of youth, huge amount of youth, because of their technological innovations, and because of political will. That is my observation. Thank you. I think Rick
So
has.
I have numbers here. And so the average age of elected politicians has increased. Average age of a member of the House of Representatives has gone from 52 in 1960 to 58 today. The average age of a senator from 60 to now has gone from 57 to 63 years old. Among world leaders,
It's a what country? What country?
In the U.S.,
Yes.
around the world, the median age of national leaders has increased from 55 to 62 over the past year.
You have some misunderstanding. When I'm talking about political revolutions, Bangladesh now it has elected party. No, you are trying to figure out that is the issues that the political party fail. Let's say Nepal has elected government.
Yeah, they
No.
well, the youth
Sri
took
Lanka.
down Nepal's government in
Yeah.
massive but there's a reason that youth are pissed off because the medicine
The
makes
old-
it so hold on,
old
let me
Yeah.
medicine makes it so people live longer, including elected officials, and that allows them to concentrate money and power. All you need to do to get rich is not die.
No, but just one point. I just try to explain to you. Look, let's focus on Bangladesh. Do not need to go everywhere because I want to go for a detailed model. In Bangladesh, uh, the political party, businessmen, defense, they have all of the power. Try to understand. They have all of the money, all of the richest, fastest growing billionaire grow in Bangladesh. So when youth go for revolutions, not only youth, you have to understand all people in Bangladesh, they support the youth revolutions. What youth say? You said, we do not want quota. We want our job opportunities. And it's logical. Then all of the country's people supporting them, then all of the oligarch, what you are always American people think about them, all of the powerful politicians, all of the armies, general, they run away. Why? Because political will. All people in my country, they want it. That's why the new reformation is happening, new institutional reformation is happening. They said enough is enough, we do not want corruptions, we want to see our university in that way, we want to see our election commission in that way, we want to see our court, high court in that way. So I completely agree with you. Maybe they have many different A's and other things, but when it's revolution happen, revolutions mean revolutions. Then they try to change, not only change, not for their personal benefit. It's for people will. People say yes, we want it. So what we do? Example. In USA, you are in USA. If American people says we do not want these two political party, let's say 90%, 80%, or 70% people say we do not want this government, then what will happen? Same thing. Think in that way. It happened in Bangladesh. It happened in Nepal with the leadership of youth. That is the things I'm trying to share.
The U.S. It's built in. The two-party system is built in. We're not going to get rid of that. But
Bangladesh also has two parties.
Wait. Let me get a freaking word in here. So, like in the U.S., now we're not disagreeing. In the U.S., baby boomers, people who are over 60 have more than half of the household wealth, and then people who are Gen X over age 45 have 26% of the household wealth. There's only 6% of household wealth that belongs to people 44 years of age and younger. There's a huge amount of resentment about that.
No, I completely understand. And definitely, USA has better political situations or institutions than Bangladesh or than Nepal. I hope your country will move in an effective way. I hope your country will go in a more positive way. But I'm worried you have shut down and all of the economic recessions. Even though you see that recently the gold price is going very up. What is the reason behind that? Reason is the US dollars, they are not performing well because of
because we have an idiot running the government and tearing down the government. Sasha's got a thing to say.
Okay, so you're talking a lot about youth movement. Okay, let's analyze actually what exactly it is. So the youth want to get their jobs where they can get their job by get rid of older people. So they have to either fire them or kill them or do something like that to get working space. Otherwise, with the stagnant economy as it is in US right now, which is most likely will go even down, so there will be a fight for working places and there will be fewer and fewer of them available. Now, what is exactly youth is? It's a biomass, uneducated, uncultured. They have
no. I completely disagree. Do not behave like Israel and Jewish.
No, much as you want.
You are uneducated.
I'm talking about exactly what it is. Uneducated, uncultured biomass, and most likely it will lead to destruction of available community. That's how cultural it is. They don't know nothing about world history, world literature, music. They're uneducated. They don't know languages. They don't know anything. It's a biomass, nothing more than that. That's it. So you want to support youth? Okay. You will end up losing your job, losing your house, losing your family. Nothing more than that. So you have to catch the youth. You have to put them through military service. You have to teach them how to respect people, how to educate themselves, and only then some of them would be. I'm not expert on Bangladesh. I'm not commenting on Bangladesh at all. I'm talking about North American society. That's what there is to do.
I'm not talking about your country. This is your problem.
Military service. Nothing else will help. Otherwise, it's uneducated, uncultured biomass. Dangerous for society. That's all what it is.
I see many smart people in North America. I see many smart youth in North America. I personally work with at least 5 different universities. I met at least 500 people in North America. They are smarter than your arrogancy. Trust me, I have still the North American people working in my lab. They are very smart. You cannot arrogant like this. You cannot disrespect the youth. It's your lack of wisdom. It's your lack of empathy. It's your lack of knowledge.
I have knowledge. I have experience. I know well what I'm talking about.
I do not see you have any constructive contributions for this world. What's your constructive contribution for this world? What you did for the people?
It's too many to list for you. It's too many to list.
It's too many for you. It's too many for you because you are disrespecting your next generations. You are disrespecting your people. You are disrespecting your community.
I have grounds to say what I say. I strongly believe that not all youth is useful. They have to be trained. They have to be educated. They have to be disciplined.
This is your job.
Then,
why you do not?
Then they can become members of society.
Why you do not? This is your job. Why you do not train your people properly?
Because
because you already took all of the money.
I'm not professional educator. I will leave it to those who are trained and who can do the job.
I am a professional educator. My institution worked for the development, and I identify, even though in Canada, there are many smart youth. They have goodwill. They have very good knowledge. This is good for you. This is good for your country to respect your youth communities and give them support. And you cannot say they are stupid. You cannot say you are stupid.
I never said stupid. Don't put your words in my mouth. I never said stupid. I'm saying is that they have to be educated. They have to be of society. They have to be disciplined, and the best way to do it is mandatory military service.
You always criticize Trump. I respect it. Okay, I respect your views. I respect your things. You always criticize Trump. What is the alternative leadership solution? Political leadership solution you have for USA?
Here's something that Trump has done.
No, please.
Hold on. You guys have been talking. So one problem in the U.S. that is going on is that the Republican leadership is stripping Social Security and Medicare, which means that older people have to keep working in order to have enough money to survive. So they want to raise the retirement age to 70. And people have to keep working. If older people can't retire, that means there are fewer jobs available for younger people. And a lot of that rests on the shoulders of the current leadership.
I agree with you. But things is that who built up this society? Old people. Last 30 years, who built up this society? The old people, right? They get power. They are in politics. They build up business. They build up their capital society, right?
Yes.
Who gonna fix it? The older people, again, you give them chance to fix these things because they did all of the wrong thing last 30 years. Or you try with the new people.
Yeah, we need younger people. We have the last 3 presidential elections have been old versus old. The 2 major candidates are old. Nobody likes that. America works better when you have younger candidates.
Yeah,
but even the younger candidates aren't always as young as we think they are and everything. I mean, Mamdani is not a spring chicken, isn't he? Like in his 50s or 60s or something.
I don't know. Like that. I don't know. He looks younger. He can't be in his 60s. There's no freaking way. I'll look him up. But
this is that the old people, they did a lot of wrong. They did all of the wrong thing last.
No, he's 34 years old.
Fair enough. So give them chance. Give them chance to build up your society. Give them chance. Yes, Sasha, your wisdom, I always say, valuable. Collaborate with them. Do not say you cannot do the job. You do not have a skill. You do not have knowledge. You cannot do that. Better collaborate with them. That is called talent economy. And advise them. Train them. Cooperate with them. Look, if they do anything wrong, advise them. You are wrong. I want to be your mentors. I can help you and correct you from my experience. Then it's logical.
Hey, Dr. Sharif, just really quickly along those same lines, and we've only got a few more minutes to go because Sasha has brought this up a couple of times, and I don't know enough about the countries of the world, so I'm going to ask you: is the mandatory military service in Bangladesh and everything like that? Because Sasha has said several times that that's what he thinks is one of the things that we are doing wrong. I don't want to put words in your mouth, but I do think that you've said that several times, Sasha, that you are a supporter of mandatory military service.
Yes, I am. Yes, I am, because that's what unites. I remember my days in mandatory military service back in Soviet Union. And let's see, we had people from different places, and Soviet Union was very large countries. So you had in one unit, you would have several different people from different places, different nationalities, and so on. And that what, at least for 2 years, which was monetary service about, at least for 2 years, you had a sense of different people from different places, and that somewhat unites population into something homogeneous as much as you can imagine that. But for example, in the United States, when you have also people, there is also element of race which didn't play a big role in Soviet Union. So there is a religion, there is a race, there is a place of birth and where you live. It's a financial status, because in Soviet Union there was no such thing as financial status. Everybody was equal, and everybody was getting in the army a very, very small token salaries. Buy maybe a couple.
Yeah, I agree with Sasha that national service could be a great thing. It doesn't have to be military. It could be teaching, it could be building, and you take young people and you smush them all together, and they learn about people from different parts of the country. We have a baby shortage over here. If it was for men and women and you made them work together, people might start getting laid more again. People are at home working their phones, not meeting other people, doing weird gig economy jobs, and yeah, it's freaking terrible.
Actually, that's another plus. Thank you, Rick. You mentioned that to get people out of their freaking phones. So if you get mandatory military service, you cannot use your phone except maybe once a week or so. So that would solve this problem, because indeed the young people, I must say, they're becoming increasingly evil, self-centered, egoistic, they're anti-societal, and they cannot, and that state of mind being completely
my question,
music, literature, from anything.
My question, my friend. My question.
They have to avoid it.
Who made this society? Who made this society? The young people made this society, or you?
No, we are making society until we are alive. Okay, we fight all our lives for whatever we achieve, and we would like to enjoy it, and we don't need.
My point of view, try to understand Bangladesh. Young people, 2,000 young people, they come in front of tank, in front of army, in front of police, and they sacrifice their life. Try to understand. They sacrifice their life. Sasha, you do not die for your country. Rick, you do not die for your country. Mark, you did not die for your country. I am not. It's also not. The youth come to the public and they say, kill me. Kill me. I want to save my country. Do you want to say them they are hypocrite? Do you want to say they are isolated and they do not know what to do? Because of not only...
No, I don't disagree with you. We just had a protest.
20,000 young people. 20,000. You have to understand the data and different culture. 20,000 youth still. Someone do not have eyes. Someone do not have hands. Someone do not have legs. Someone do not have lot of sufferings. Still, my country cannot protect them, and they sacrifice their life. These are youth. These are young people. Do you believe these people are stupid? Do you think these people are self-centered? They are cheater. They are hypocrite. That's why all of the arrogant, all of the powerful, all of the politicians, oligarch, they run away. So that is the things I am talking about. Do not disrespect the youth community. better collaborate with them, support them. Nobody is perfect. I'm not perfect.
Yeah, nobody's perfect. But on that note, we do have to keep the track of time and everything like that, because I know the network is very big on that and everything. So we're getting ready to end. We'll have more discussion around the youth on maybe later this evening on World Politics and definitely on some of the other shows. But right now it's time to get on out of here. So we'll see you later, maybe at 5 o'clock, maybe not, but we'll definitely see you later on, and definitely time to get on out of here.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.